It's time for the Dane by Local podcast, Let's Get Local. Each month, we'll feature DBL members and hear their stories. So let's jump into our next episode.
Welcome back to another edition of Let's Get Local. I'm Jason Hafman, your host. Today I'm joined, now I better preface here before we jump into it. This is episode 6. I did miss a month. I apologize to Colin, the group, everyone Dane by Local. Yes, I missed a month. June was crazy busy, trying to move, some other things happening in the personal life. So, but I'm really glad to be joined by Amanda Metcalfe for our July edition. And so Amanda is taking some time off for us today. Amanda, thanks so much for spending some time to talk about Metcalfes and yourself today.
Yeah, you bet. No problem. Great to sit down with you.
Yeah. Okay, so Amanda is a really fun and interesting person. We're going to learn a little bit about her. But first, let's talk about the family business that is your family. I mean, you guys give everything to this business. So tell us a little bit about what Metcalfes Market is.
Yeah, so we are a neighborhood grocery. We have been around for 102 years now. Actually, this month.
Wow.
Yep. We had our 100th anniversary a couple of years back. And it came up really quickly, it felt like.
Those 100 years?
Yeah, it just came real quick. But I'm actually the fifth generation. The owners are still my dad and my uncle, so fourth generation. So I get to work with my family every day. And we don't stop working. I mean, even when we're at family get-togethers, we're still talking about stuff. So yeah, it is kind of a 24/7 job, but it's what we love. We love food, we love people, and yeah, we've been around for 100 years now. So what we focus on are values that my great-great-grandfather had when he first came over and started the business, is people, food, and service. That's always been the core of what we're about, and we also do a lot with sustainability. And being
don't
green.
jump too far ahead. You're taking all my questions.
Sorry. But yeah, those are the values we've always had. We also focus on local. So yeah, we sell groceries, we sell food, and we sell service.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's just such a unique thing. I mean, a business has been around for 102 years, first off. Secondly, a family business. It stayed within the same family for now going on the 5th generation. I mean, those are just incredible things that you don't hear about that much anymore.
They're very rare, actually. Usually the statistics really drop off after the 3rd generation. Something with the Gen 3, but my grandpa held on strong. And my dad and my uncle, the same thing. And they were really excited when I came back about 7 or 8 years ago now, like officially. I started when I was 14, so been around-ish for about 20 years, but back in the business more as a career, and they were excited about that, to see it kind of continue on. So.
Well, when there's a family business, that's your first job, right? I mean, that's how you start in it for sure. Whether you stay in it is the question.
The second you turn 14, you beg.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was reading up on that too, and I thought it was so interesting to hear kind of the story of just the history of Metcalfes and finding how, it had kind of been passed down. And there have been store location moves, there have been expansions, there have been other things that have happened, but it's been the same business, the same core people doing the same thing throughout the whole 102 years. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I think the great part is, yes, it's been our family, but it's been a ton of really awesome people that work with us too. Every single month we're celebrating 30-year anniversaries, 10-year anniversaries, 5-year. There's just tons of people who have also been with us for a really long time. And I think that's where we're super lucky too, is we have some great leaders in the family, but then we also have such a great group behind us that's really what makes it. So
now, one thing you talked about the great people, but one other thing that kind of I think separates Metcalfes and it's something that you're really focused on is the quality of the products that you sell and you offer. Mm-hmm. That has a lot to do with where you get them from. But talk about just kind of when a customer goes into a Metcalfes, what do they expect to see?
A lot of local, especially if it's the summer and we have all the local produce. What we like to do is help highlight for our customers how to shop local. So we have little food mile signs that really kind of define local in a way that allows the shopper to shop with what is local to them. So how we define it is 250 miles of the capital or of the store for our Wauwatosa location. And we show how many miles that product had to travel to the store, so you can really decide, oh, this is Milwaukee, that's local to me. Oh, that's Dane County, that's local to me, and kind of really help you decide what's local to you. But we have about 3,200, I think it might have been 500 products on our shelves. And what's really awesome is like having those producers come in and they sample their products, so you could be walking around the store, seeing those local signs, but then also seeing that producer standing there telling you their story and how they came up with this product, and what's in it and the story behind it. So it's like a little underground community that's really fun, and that's really what's pulled me back in, is meeting those people, seeing their passion, and then obviously the food's super good. So
I think that's interesting too. And a really smart idea to say give people that opportunity to decide what local means to them. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of us think of it differently, and that's why do you as the provider have to decide that? I mean, you want to have a local focus, which is great, but leaving that interpretation up to your customers, I think is really smart. So whoever came up with that, great job, tip of the cap to you.
Well, they got some awards for it, so
yeah.
that I will attribute that to my dad.
Okay, all right. You're not going to take all the credit today.
No,
okay,
no.
I got it. You mentioned your dad, so tell us a little bit about your dad and his brother, who currently own the business.
Yep. So Tim Metcalfe is my dad. Kevin Metcalfe is my uncle, and they are just two really passionate guys who shoot from the hip and have made some really great decisions. They've made some mistakes, but we learn from them, and really have taken the business that my grandpa had started and really had it blossom. And they also took Bratfest that my grandpa had started and really made that into a huge community event. So
we're going to get back to that.
Yeah, we will. We'll talk about
later,
that.
But keep going.
So what they talk about is that they're just kind of the caretakers of the business. We've received a family business award, and it's literally a person like holding a ball. And that's how they see themselves, holding the business, making it better, keeping it up, and then passing it on to the next. And I think that they've done a really good job of not only taking that ball, but lifting it. So I'm going to have to like jump and grab it. Or have some of my cousins come help me and we'll all hold it up. But
yeah, I think that's a great analogy too. It's because to do something like that takes teamwork, takes more people than just one, and and that family atmosphere, and just it seems like the atmosphere of the store just really kind of speak to that. Before when I first showed up today, and then I was kind of sitting out, just kind of observing in the store. As you were on a call, and so I was just hanging out, and I just loved kind of looking around, the energy of the store. I mean, it looks beautiful first off, but just kind of the energy from it, the customers, it's busy, but at the same time, people feel relaxed and comfortable. And the other thing I noticed was what you talked about before is I looked to my left, I saw something about local, and I looked to my right and I saw something about local, and then I saw stuff about being green and energy efficient. So all of these kind of progressive, really community-based ideas all over your store, which just made it feel like that. So from the customer experience that I observed to all the signage and everything else, just it feels like a community, like its own little community here.
And it totally is. That means everyone's doing their job too. Marketing, our people, everything. That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Because that is what we want when you walk into the store. One of the things that makes it so fun when I was working on the front end is having the repeat customers come in. And last time they were in, you were talking about like, oh, what are you making tonight? And then the next time they come in, you get to feel like, how was it? Was it good? How was your party? So we have a lot of that, a lot of people that come in often, come in with their friends and sit in our coffee it is one big happy family. I would say with our people and with our customers. Yeah, it's fun to come to work.
So what are some of the specialty features? Like, tell me about some of your favorite parts of the store.
Oh God, cheese.
Okay.
Cheese is my favorite. So that's when I first came.
See, I thought you were a baked goods person.
No, I mean,
No.
right now. So I'm growing the 6th generation right now. So that's
There
why
you go.
bakery is that's my go-to in the morning. Not usually, but I started off when I was 14 in the deli. So fresh foods has always been a passion of mine. But when I came back career-wise, I started in the cheese department, and that really like hooked me in, trying all the different cheeses, having cheesemakers stop in who've been up since like 3 a.m. drop off their new wheels of cheese and telling you about how long it's been aging and the story behind it and why they came up with this profile. That was just so cool. And we get fresh cheese curd deliveries.
Ooh.
And it literally comes in this like big block. And you tear it apart and it's all warm in the middle and the whey is in there still, and and you have to taste test just to make sure it's like,
Well, of course.
it's legit. I mean, we
right.
don't want to sell anything that doesn't taste good, so.
Exactly. Do you have volunteer signups for that at all, or do you have to be an employee?
No, you
For that
don't.
taste
If
testing
you
opportunity.
happen to be a customer walking by when those deliveries say, I think we get
Text me next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's super good. If you happen to be walking by and they're bagging curds, stop by and ask for one. They're so good. And they're like the squeakiest. They were literally made that morning. So
Nice.
yeah, trying all the cheeses and learning about them, refining my palate was, there's so many cool different things, and the knowledge you learn from the people that stop in. That's my, sorry guys, my favorite department. So
Okay. All right. Well, I asked, so if you want to blame, be upset about it, blame me. Okay. So something interesting. You talked about the continual learning and all of that. I know Metcalfes has done a lot of. So we talked all about the local focus, but you have gone to other countries, right, to learn more, to talk to other people that have products in other countries and run stores in other countries. Tell us about some of those efforts that you guys have done.
So one of the things, and I think that this attributes to why we've been around so long too, is that we take profits from the business and we reinvest in our people, in our in-store experiences, in technology. We're constantly reinvesting in our businesses, remodeling our stores. We try to do it every 8 years or so. So Hilldale's up next. So we went on a food tour, and we checked out Italy and London because they just have really great food cultures. And particularly London was really cool because we heard people from Italy who were going to London. So we're like, okay, we gotta, the people from the food culture in Italy are going to London, we gotta do it too. And so it was a really hard job, but we went to different grocery stores and we toured and talk to owners about what they're doing and how their customers are interacting with food. We watched customers, we were customers. We also traveled to different food markets and food halls just to see kind of, what are people doing with food? Because I think a lot of that food culture is, flowing over here now with people traveling more. They're looking for things that they can find in those locations that they've been in. So, it was really, really terribly hard work, but.
Well, I think you're spot on there. I mean, I know. So my wife was originally born in the Netherlands, and she's got a whole side of the family. So as a kid, I went over there almost every year for long visits, and so then there were all these food products and stuff that you could only get there, and then she'd come back here and couldn't get those things, and so you don't want a person to have to travel over the seas again just to get a food item they really want. So if you can bring some of that back and make it available to them in their daily lives, I mean, you're hitting that part of their palate, but you're also providing another unique service, I think, as a store. So that's a great
Giving
effort.
you a little bit of that childhood memory when you
exactly.
come in and find something that you haven't been able to find somewhere else. That's such a cool thing to do too. We have that a lot when we have visitors come in. Oh my gosh, I haven't been able to find this anywhere, but I found it here. We're like, yay. Or when they find local products and then come here when they visit Wisconsin specifically for those things. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's great. We mentioned a little bit before about the green efforts, but I was reading up too that, I mean, Metcalfes, your family, your store, your businesses have really been green leaders, kind of in the industry, in the area, what have you. But I mean, talk to us about the efforts there. I know you're 100% renewable powered, your stores are. And then, of course, you do a lot with the bag program too. So explain a little bit about why those are so important to you.
Yeah, so one of my dad's things and my uncle's things too is we love the lakes, we love Madison, we love Wisconsin, and making sure that they're passing on a better world to me and our kids is something that they're passionate about, and we know that our customers are passionate about those kinds of things too. So I think it was customer feedback as well as a passion that inspired them to spend a little bit more money but do what's right to leave less of a footprint. So I think it was 2008 that we became 100% green powered. And that also inspired us to try to encourage people to reuse their bags. So we started the reuse and choose, where when you bring in a bag, it could be any bag. It could be a competitor's bag. We'll still pay you. You're reusing it. So that's the whole point here. But yeah, when you reuse a bag, we'll pay you 10 cents and you're able to apply that to your bill, or you're able to donate that to the charity of the month, and that kind of changes each month. So it's just a way for us to encourage people to not only reuse their bags, but also maybe give back to community if they'd like.
Absolutely. Now, a little spoiler, I hope it's a spoiler, but on the horizon, there are rumors that a local organization might be helping to lead the charge on making it even more prevalent to have reusable bags available to people, and we're hoping that we can work with Metcalfes on that too. So
most definitely.
Should be fun.
Yep. We got some stuff in the works. We'll see what comes.
I have a good feeling about it.
Yeah.
I really do, that we're going to get there. Okay. So we have talked about all kinds of fun things about you and the business, but now, okay, so you've referenced what's happening inside your stomach area a few times. So tell us a little bit about how you are about you're in your first time with baby, and excited to be a new mom in a few months.
Well, I have a little niece and a nephew that kind of spurred baby fever, and so I decided to create one of my own. No, I'm about 6 months pregnant now with Gen 6, and super excited. I'm due in November, which is the busy season here, so everyone thinks I planned it that way. I totally didn't, but I'm not going to be mad about sitting home in sweats during that time. So, but yeah, we're going to have a little girl this November, so super excited.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On that. How excited were your parents about that?
Very excited. I got to surprise them both on Easter, as well as his parents too. We put the ultrasound picture in a little egg and had them open up. They're like, what are these? These are, is this egg should be is it for the kids? It's for us? What? So yeah, that was super exciting. They have the whole family there. We were all out on vacation together. So it was special.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
6th generation on its way. Get ready, Metcalfes, as the store continues on.
She'll be on the front end in about 14 years. So.
One other thing, going back to your now you said this too. You started as a bagger. You were here. You went away, because you were considering other career opportunities, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Earlier in your life. What ultimately pulled you back?
Well, I went to school for psychology and business. I've always loved people, interacting with people. And then I moved to Milwaukee for a while and was doing some employee assistance program, working again with people and counselors. And I was always doing the party planning. And they're like, you are really good at this. And I was like, well, food, getting people together. I was like, it's kind of our thing. Kind of runs in my blood. And we went on vacation, and Dad's like, why don't you come back? And I was like, okay. I was like, I totally want to. And like I said, I started out in cheese. That was just kind of a spot that they needed. I hadn't been there yet. And I was like, yeah, I'll just come for, Madison a little and see how it is, and maybe I'll find something else. And, it was never dead set, like, yep, grocery, that's my thing. But then after meeting all of the local producers, talking about cheese, seeing all of the people come into the store, interacting with the customers, and then going to the farmer's market and seeing all those same people at the farmer's market and seeing, the same products on the menus at the restaurants that I'm visiting. And I'm like, I know exactly who this is and where it came from and why they made it. I'm like, I gotta stay. This is too cool. So, yeah.
And I imagine that you mentioned much earlier about the employees that have been here 30 years or so. I imagine a lot of them, the team, right, that's Metcalfes, also was a pretty big drawback for you because you knew them.
Well, what was crazy is I came back and I guess I never expected to be like, know so many people. I mean, it's a grocery store. We typically have a decent amount of turnover in that industry. And I came back and I'm like, wow, I know a ton of people here. And that guy taught me how to chop salad. And she taught me how to do this. And he taught me how to do that. And it was really cool. I just immediately felt like family.
That's very cool. Mm-hmm. Very, very cool. One thing I wanted to ask you about too was, so your current title, is?
I'm the Director of Employee Development, but we kind of wear multiple hats here. And I kind of do a little HR, a little strategic planning, whatever they need. So
I'm guessing your parents at some point might want you to be one of the people taking over the business at some point?
Yeah, we'll see. My dad always tells me that it'll go to the best. And if that's me, great. Okay. So nothing's guaranteed, which I like. I don't want anything guaranteed. I want to earn it. So
absolutely, because I was going to ask you a little bit about the kind of being in a power position in this industry, whether it's as a young woman, if there are any challenges or any things you had to encounter through that process, being in such a prominent position at a major retailer for groceries.
Yeah, I would say the great thing is I haven't necessarily experienced that kind of thing in our company, which is great. I think that both my dad and Kevin and the leadership here has respect for women. We have also a lot of women on that team who are awesome and I love and inspire me in how they interact and work with their teams. So I think within our company, there's a ton of support for that, which I love. But in the industry, sometimes it's difficult when you go to trade shows. And I've gone to trade shows with my dad and my uncle, and they talk to them, but not me. And I'm like, hey, I'm actually the one that you should be talking to because I'm in HR kind of a thing. So I've definitely experienced those kinds of things, or being asked, oh, are you the wife or the girlfriend? I'm like, no, that's my dad, or that's my uncle. So I've experienced kind of where people assume that you're not the decision maker and that kind of a thing, but nothing I can't handle. And so, I don't have a problem speaking up about it and saying, no, you're wrong.
That's good. So, but overlooked a little bit. And personally, I think women are going to save the world. So I think that's probably part of the reason Metcalfes is so successful, if you have that many women involved. Look, guys, let's be honest, they're smarter than us, also more detailed than us, and have more creativity most of the time. So, hats off.
We're really good multitaskers.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's just honest. And my wife knows it too. I tell her all the time. The other quick thing I wanted to ask you about, which I kind of jumped over it, but it was really important, which was really about this industry itself and how challenging. I don't think a lot of people out there understand how challenging it is to be successful and actually run a profit as a grocer. Like, how difficult is that?
It is. It's always been difficult. It's a low profit business, or low margin business. We're lucky to get 3 cents back on the dollar, kind of a thing. And it gets even more difficult when we're in like the work climate that we're in now, or the job market that we're in now, where it's really difficult to get people. Wages are increasing, which puts pressure on that bottom line. Prices are super competitive with, we're a local business. We don't get the buying power and the economy of scale that some of the bigger businesses are able to get when they purchase. Also, we're investing in, we have multiple vendors. We have multiple local vendors. So it's difficult to try and keep prices low and keep wages high and compete with the convenience of Amazon now, especially that they're growing so hard after grocery, purchasing Whole Foods, able to deliver within a day. Lots of places are able to deliver within an hour, things like that. So it's a really competitive landscape, and Madison in particular is a very competitive landscape when it comes to grocery retail. There's lots of options. So, making sure that you're hitting on all the cylinders in all those areas tends to be just a little bit of a challenge. So coming up with efficiencies, making sure that we're having a great in-store experience is kind of really where we're trying to focus.
And you have gotten creative, though, to keep up with some of the changes with some online shopping opportunities and some other things that you've added, right? So,
yeah. Well, actually, we've been delivering for about 15 years. So we've been doing it for a while, but other people are getting real good at it. And actually, it's kind of cool. My great-great-grandpa delivered groceries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He would take them right to people's store.
Very
before
cool.
It was even a thing.
Nice.
But yeah, it's really competitive, but I think that if we focus on the things that we've always valued, that we're going to be just okay.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing very well in terms of the product you're putting out there, the way you're running the operation, and the products you supply people. So in the end, especially with all of the food allergies and all these other things that are coming to light, health issues with certain foods and other things, and people kind of starting to look more into what's all in this food and where did it come from, and what might not have been really checked because it came from another country or whatever, where the restrictions aren't as high for exports. People are more and more conscious of that and realizing their health is the most important thing. And so they want to be going to a place that has kind of done the work for them and says, look, all these products we know where they came from. We know that, they're safe and they're good products for you to consume, and they're good quality too. So I think you guys are on the right track and in the right place for all that.
Yep. We do try to help people out with that and educate our employees, because sometimes our customers come in more educated because they have to purchase food that way. So it's really making sure that we're on the level to be able to help when those kinds of concerns and questions come in, and assure people that they're getting the right stuff.
All right, Bratfest. Let's have it.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Tell me about it.
I love Bratfest. I've been helping with it since I could pour soda, and they trusted me in the Hilldale parking lot back when it was 10 cents and it was in the little Pepsi cups, and we were surrounded by bees because it was just out of the little pourry spouts. It's always been so much fun. One of the favorites of my family every Memorial Day. That's, what are your plans at Bratfest? We don't go up north. We don't do other things. We're here, and we love it. And we just got over it. We have a wrap meeting tomorrow. See how we did. But we did really well this year. I'm excited. It's always such a fun time to bring the community together. Again, kind of like we have at Metcalfes. It's like the family that gets together every year again. It's the same leaders in the key positions, and a lot of the same volunteers. Again, they'll tell you about how they've been volunteering for 30 years and stuff like that. So just a super fun community event. We're all tired after it, but it's totally worth it.
I mean, it's a great event, but it does so much it's such a great opportunity too for so many area nonprofits to get their people that are invested in those organizations to come out and help out, be part of it, and still, in that way contribute to those organizations. Those organizations benefit with visibility, with dollars raised. I mean, it's just all around there are no losers in Bratfest. Everybody wins.
It's definitely a win-win. It is a fun way to raise money with your team out there, and the great thing is we've done like follow-ups where we've talked with people like, what was Bratfest able to do for you? And have people be able to say, it got us this. It got us all of our uniforms. It helped us go to this competition. Special Olympics has been with us forever. So they have a ton of volunteers that come. I think they've been with us since the beginning practically. And it's have raised a ton of funds. It's one of the main sources of their fundraising. And a lot of places, their biggest fundraisers come from this event. So something everyone looks forward to.
Well, we appreciate that as a community for you guys starting it, growing it, and having the vision to make it what it is now, because it's really an impactful event.
Oh, thank you. We'll continue to make it better. That's why we have those meetings and we talk about it every year. It may only happen once a year, but we literally are still talking about it, and we're talking about next year already. So
Right. Just so people have a point of reference, tell us what it started out as.
Yeah, so it started out as a customer appreciation event. My grandpa wanted to say thank you to his customers. And so he had his little Weber grill, and he was grilling on the front end or right outside the store here at Hilldale, and just to say thank you for his customers. And my grandma was out there helping, and I think my mom and my dad are out there helping too, and my grandma on the other side. We're all out helping, just say thank you to customers. I think brats were like 50 cents or 25 cents or something like that. There's a picture of it somewhere. But we have pictures of him grilling. And it just, my grandpa's always been big about community and specifically like the arts and stuff like that. So he had, I think back then we did it on Labor Day and Memorial Day. And so we had different community, different organizations that would come and volunteer to help, because it just started to get so popular that Grandpa couldn't handle doing it all by himself anymore. That if that's where it started, if they volunteered, that the proceeds would go to them. It wasn't a sale for the store or anything like that. And it just kept growing and growing and growing, that eventually we needed to move it out of Hilldale because people couldn't park to shop the mall. And the sales on Memorial Day weekend were just tanking. So we moved out to Willow Island at the Alliant, and it's just gotten huge ever since then.
All right. So we are to the point where we have to ask you some quick questions.
Okay.
So it's the speed round.
Man, I got prego brain, so
it's okay. You can blame the unborn as much as you want, and no man could argue with you because we have never experienced it. However, so I'm going to ask you a couple of quick things, and then just want your initial gut reaction answer. And with the idea of most of these are really kind of thinking locally. So it's a local theme. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. All right, give me a local restaurant.
Ooh, like my favorite local restaurant?
You can make it your favorite.
Or maybe
Are you buying yourself time? Are you buying yourself time?
My favorite today. My favorite place for breakfast tacos is Monona Bakery and Eatery. Their breakfast tacos are amazing. And they make their little sauces in-house. So good.
I should let you know there are no wrong answers.
Yeah.
Okay, no wrong answers here. How about, well, this one's easy for you. How about a local festival?
Oh, well, there's lots of them. Bratfest is probably my favorite. I'm a little bit biased, so.
I figured that would be your answer.
But anything with cheese.
Ooh.
Curd Fest is pretty good, too.
Okay. Wow. All right. Give me a street name.
Oh, goodness. Monona Drive. I used to live on it.
Okay, fair enough. What about a coffee or tea place that you really like?
Ooh. So I lived in the Monona area. Rosie's. It's really good too.
Great place.
And they have good pastries, so it's been a dual purpose.
How about a view or sight?
Oh, the Capitol. The Capitol off of John Nolan, like as you're coming in at night or on a boat. I mean, that's even better. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of my faves.
And how about a nonprofit?
Oh, we do a lot with Reach a Child for Bratfest, and I just love that group. They come in, they have so much fun. They run our kids zone, so I'm gonna go Reach a Child. Shout out.
All right, these next two get a little bit off the reservation here, but so it's not maybe as local, but just something I was curious about. How about your favorite sport or game?
Ooh, I'm a soccer girl.
Okay.
So USA,
Nice.
women's soccer.
Very
Heck yeah,
time-
that game was awesome.
Very timely.
Yeah.
And how about your preferred eating utensil?
Spork. Best
Very-
of both worlds.
Very useful tool, no doubt. Now, one other thing Amanda does a lot of, we talk about everything with Metcalfes, is she's very involved in Dane by Local, and Metcalfes is as well, but you are on the board, you do a lot of volunteering, you're on committees. So tell us a little bit about that connection to DBL.
Yeah, so, DBL has always been part of Metcalfes. Even before I was on the board, I knew we were part of Dane by Local. They were actually one of our charities of the month for the bag credits before. So, but they approached me and asked if I wanted to be on the board. I think it makes a lot of sense. We do a lot with local, and it's part of what we do. And so I was like, I have never been on a board. I'll try it out. And so I joined, and I'm on the events committee. So I'm party planning in the blood a little bit. And then I also am on the executive committee, and I'm the vice president. So, yeah, jumped into that role. So, president, I think, coming up this next year.
Well, we are, as a Dane by Local member as well, and me being very active in the group, we're very happy to have you for sure.
Oh, thanks. It's fun to have you on the group and interact.
I mean, we enjoy it. You make the meetings fun. You have a lot of great ideas, and at the same time, you make me feel a little more comfortable because this is my first time being on a board as well. So it's kind of like going into it like
newbies together.
Yeah,
Pound it
I
out.
mean, okay. I never really thought I'd be on a board, but give it a shot and see how it goes. And
well, same. I honestly wouldn't have known. You seem pretty experienced.
really,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah, I would have never known.
Oh.
It's mine.
Even with my new haircut.
No, it looks good though. I like that.
There's an 8-year-old barber, and she lives in my house, and she did it for free. So
Seriously?
Yeah.
She did a super good job.
this is my rocker haircut because the Blues Cruise, shameless plug for the Dane by Local event
Yes,
coming
that's
up
coming up.
on July 21st. The Blues Cruise, I'm playing, and maybe we should talk about playing at Broadfest sometime. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, side note. There I am. I'm self-propagating again. Sorry. But anyway, Blues Cruise is coming up, and I had to get a rocker haircut for it because I'm a rocker for a day.
Are you gonna like spike it up?
I don't know
Or just,
yet.
I like how it is.
Well, I slept on it. I did this, and then I slept on it the other day, and it was like straight, kind of just elevated, but my wife hated it. But it was literally, it made me like 5 inches taller. So it was kind of fun, and it kind of moved around, Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens.
It gives a good stage presence.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it fits. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we're getting off topic, which sometimes I do. I've been pretty good this interview, you have to admit.
Squirrel.
Yeah, you have to admit. But Amanda, you are just a joy to be around, and we're happy to have you as part of Dane by Local, and I'm sure your family is really, really happy to have you a part of Metcalfes. So thank you so much for telling us all about that.
Yeah.
Telling us a little bit about you, sharing your story personally as well. And congratulations on the baby.
Thank you.
My
Thank
goodness,
you.
a little girl.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And you might drink probably twice as much coffee once you have the child.
Yeah, can't
Just to
have
let you
too
know.
much now, so I'm saving up for
It's-
when that comes. Trying to prepare myself.
Those at least the first few months are rough.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Sleep
glad
is,
it'll be like November, December, and like darker. So I'm hoping it'll be easier to sleep like whenever.
Maybe. I mean, you won't
We'll
have any.
see.
You won't have any trouble sleeping any chance you get. It's just when are you going to get those chances?
Yeah, that's
the
true.
wild card. So I would, tag your parents in whenever you can.
Yep, definitely.
Mom,
well, I have
Dad-
a lot of family around,
Okay,
so
good.
I'm hoping we'll lean on those guys.
That helps. That helps. But congratulations on all of that and
you.
everything. Continued success to you and Metcalfes. We love it.
Thanks. Thanks for having me today. This was fun.
You bet. That's Dane by Locals. Let's get local. We'll see you again in August. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for checking out Dane by Local's new podcast, Let's Get Local, available on YouTube, Facebook, and DBL's website. Join us next month for more local talk.